What is good, all of our listeners and viewers? Welcome to another episode of Games and Groceries. My name is Adam.
And I'm Liz.
And I just got done working an 8-hour shift at a diner. Woo! We are at episode 77. We are going to be talking about the Game Awards 2019, and we're going to be talking about our predictions about the actual show. So, with all that said and done, Liz, how you doing?
I'm good.
I don't know why I'm talking in the vocal fry.
I have no idea, but I'm good. I finished my first week of my new job.
You did.
And apparently I'm doing quite well. I impressed the owner.
Ooh.
So that's nice.
That is nice.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I got.
Cool.
I can't hear myself through my hat.
Oh, you can't hear yourself?
I mean, I can hear myself like talking, but I can't hear it in the headphones.
Yikes. But you can hear me good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Because I'm louder voice.
I think, never mind. I'll explain later.
Okay. But yeah, so I also got done my first week. I actually worked in a grocery store for a week, and then I found a new job. This new job is in a diner we absolutely love. And I couldn't believe it was the same one until I applied. And it was the same one. And so I just got done. We were recording this on Saturday so that Liz can edit it. And working in this pretty famous diner on a Saturday, my cab's on fire. But that's okay because I also impressed the owner too. So
yes.
That's all that matters. Until YouTube becomes a full-time gig, that's all that matters.
That we are good at our jobs.
Yes, because we got to make a living until you decide to subscribe.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. Just bring that up one more time, because I always say it. We don't deserve subscriptions, right? Like we have to constantly improve the quality, improve the video, and make sure that you are willing to subscribe. And we love hearing the comments. We love hearing feedback. And it seems like you really enjoy the show, especially when we have guests on. And trust me, the next 3 weeks, okay, I shouldn't promise that. But in the next couple of weeks, we should be getting a good amount of guests, including next week. This is definite. We are getting on Brian McGinnis, who is of Playable Characters Podcast, which is I believe it's in the top 20 for gaming podcasts.
Nice.
If you have not listened to Playable Characters Podcast, you are mistaking yourselves, and you need to go check that out. But let's get the show started because we got a lot to talk about. So just want to remind everybody that we are on social media on Twitter at Gaming Groceries, or you can follow us individually. I'm at Ace the Grocer.
And I'm at Journey First.
Cool. So you can follow us there and be friends with us there. And also on Instagram. We are on Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word. So you can check out behind the scenes photos as well as Question of the Week, not Question of the Week, midweek speak. But yeah, check that out. And we also have a Facebook now.
Woohoo.
So your moms can check us out. But we do have a Facebook.
It's really just so our moms can follow us.
I mean, really. Did you have your mom subscribe to it?
No.
Oh, my mom does. My mom follows. Hey, Mom. She's not listening to this. She doesn't love me that much.
Yeah, she does, and she is.
Oh, yeah. Cool. But yeah, so we're on that. And we also have a website, gamesandgroceries.com, where you can listen to all of the podcasts from the website, as well as find out where you can listen to the audio versions of the website, whether it be on iTunes. I believe we're on Player FM. Radio Public helps us. If you listen to us on Radio Public, it actually directly supports the show, so definitely check us out on Radio Public. And finally, if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely consider hitting that subscription and a notification bell so that you know when all these podcasts come out. And if you get to the end of the episode and you really like the episode, you know what helps us out? Clicking that like, and also sharing it with a friend. But if you're on iTunes or any other audio version, definitely consider giving us a review on your favorite platform so that we can be aware of what you think of the show. So, with all that said and done, let's get right into it with our first segment.
Movie Minutes.
Movie Minutes is a segment that we talk about the movies in the past week, whether it be Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, or in theaters, or on Disney Plus, probably, because now we have it. Thanks for the Christmas present. But with all that said and done, we like to recommend it, or we don't recommend it, and we like to rate it 1 out of 10. But since it's the Christmas spirit, jingle bell time. That's why Liz is wearing that hat. we are watching all Christmas movies for these movie minutes, and we're rating it 1 to 10 jingles. 10 jingles being it put us right in the Christmas spirit. It's basically Elf, and 1 being, oh wait, this is actually I was supposed to say Die Hard, but Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is actually The Matrix.
Yeah,
pretty much. So we watched on Netflix a movie called Klaus.
Mm-hmm.
So opening thoughts, go.
it was cute.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I remember the first thing we really liked about it was the art style.
Yes.
When it first came up, it was like a children's book art, almost like it wasn't like comic book. It wasn't like Spider-Verse in that way, but it wasn't like the typical animation you see.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a claymation like the ones when we were growing up, which came out even before we were born. But it was like it's like the art you would see in a children's Christmas book. So that was really cool, and I liked it.
So, yeah, that's actually my first note. It's that the animation is highly interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I had the burp. But the animation was pretty unique it had glossy eyes to it.
Yeah.
Like, all the eyes were, like, glossy, realistic. And like you said, it was a children's book kind of art style. It was very fast-paced. It was a very high motion, but also realistic. It was a unique sort of art style to it that kind of kept your interest going with the movie. Because if it looks good, that's what really keeps your interest. But it was just... All I can say is that the art style was very pleasant to look at. And this was an hour and a half, wasn't it?
I think, yeah, just about.
Yeah, it was about an hour and a half. It definitely wasn't a 2-hour movie.
No. And at no point did I feel like, okay, is this going to end soon? Like, it definitely was the right length.
Exactly. And the art style really, really helped because it's pleasant to look at. It's not annoying at all. It's not childish. It's very unique. It's just very pleasant to look at. So I have to give that recommendation right there. If you like animation, if you like those kind of art styles, definitely check out this movie. Because it has an excellent art style.
Yeah.
Let me put the mic closer. There we go. Closer. But what I have to say, oh, yes, my second note. We actually watched this earlier in the week, so that's why I write down notes so that I remember. But it's actually a fresh new take on the origin story of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Actually. So all these stories before, they were just kind of like... Santa Claus, he can't like the movie The Santa Claus, like, oh, he knocked a person off the roof and now he's Santa Claus. I
don't think that's quite it.
You're not quite it. But what did you think about this story? We're not going to spoil it, but
yeah, I really enjoyed the take they had on it. It did remind me of Santa Claus Is Coming to Town.
Yes.
With the grumpy town and things like that. So I think they had a little bit of inspiration from that, but really other than the attitude of the town, that's really the only thing that was the same as another Christmas movie. Other than that, it was all original ideas. It was definitely a good take. And I told him that if we had kids who this was the movie they wanted to watch 5 times a day,
I wouldn't mind it.
It wouldn't kill me.
Yeah. I mean, it was, like I said, it was well-paced. I think the story was fresh. I think that, like what you said, it kind of reminded you of other Christmas movies, but it had its own kind of story to it. And I think that's what made this movie very special.
Yeah.
Is that kind of special take to it, and the special animation, the special kind of story to it, where it seemed familiar, but also wasn't fleshed out already. Right. Now, on to my last note here. Hey, Klaus, can you put on the brakes to the emotional train? Stop it.
It was very emotional.
It was so incredibly emotional at times. It was very heartfelt, and there were storylines to it where, now we're not going to spoil it, like where the storyline comes in, but there's even a storyline of infertility. And, not to get too personal, but we talked about this, and we actually appreciated that was in there because, we've struggled with infertility as well. And you get to see the struggle of waiting and waiting and waiting, and the child never comes. And there's like this emotional tear.
Yeah.
Now, because we connected with it so well,
Yeah.
and that it was just like, stop it.
Yeah, like if you've been touched in any way by infertility, then it'll probably hit home more for you than someone who's never experienced it in any way at all. But if you've lived it, or if you've seen someone, or had someone in your life who went through it, this will definitely touch you.
Yeah, I mean, like I think you can take that to mean any kind of emotional train wreck.
Yeah.
Kind of like losing a spouse. If a movie has like losing a spouse, you really don't affect that until you actually have been through that. And same thing with this kind of infertility, where I think that what I think about this whole infertility section in the movie, I think it was done very well.
It was.
Where it wasn't kind of, it really wasn't kind of just kind of thrown in there like, oh,
But it was hinted.
It was hinted at it, and it was just kind of like,
it was one of those things that they put in children's movies that are meant for the parents.
And oh god, the ending. Oh my god.
Oh, that was.
Oh, I couldn't.
That broke my heart.
I couldn't.
That was beautiful.
I was like, stop. Like, it was just all around.
If this wasn't based on Christmas movies, our rankings would definitely be higher.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, our final ranking of it. Now, we rank these 1 to 10 jingles, meaning that how much Christmas spirit does this movie kind of give you watching it? Liz, what did you give it?
So I gave it a 7.5. And like I said, if this was rated as just a standalone movie and not as a Christmas, like if we weren't rating it on how much Christmas spirit it gave us,
right,
it would be a lot higher, because as a movie, it was a great movie.
Yes.
But as a Christmas movie, I gave it a 7.5 because it definitely has that Christmassy element that got you in the Christmas spirit, but it still wasn't quite there for me. I'm not sure why.
No, it's just I also gave it a 7.5, and 7.5 being it's right in the middle of decent and solid. Like this gave you like a solid feeling of Christmas, but then decent.
It's like Christmas with the Cranks.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. That would be a 7.5. Where this had Christmas themes to it, but I think it was so focused on that infertility and losing a spouse. Like it had themes to it. Where I think
Christmas was like the way the plot, like Christmas was like helped the plot move.
I mean, you could argue that about Elf, because Elf is all about adoption and foster care.
Yeah, but he's an elf.
But that's the thing. Is that like Elf also had those serious themes to it, like foster parents and fathers not being there all the time. But this movie wasn't Elf in that way because, like what you said, that he was an elf.
Yeah.
I didn't really go through the plot too much in this movie, but it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. I think you can look it up for yourself.
But yeah, I think a 7.5 is a fair thing, is a fair rating, because it's
7.5 jingles.
Whatever.
Yeah, jingles. Jingle bells.
But that's because, but like I said, it's still very Christmassy. It gets you in the Christmas spirit, but it does have more of that serious, more serious moments that makes it not. It's not that like big uplifting. It's not like the claymation Christmas movies that have the songs and Christmas.
Yikes. But yeah, I think we enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, we did.
I think we connected with it a lot. I would give it a high ranking for a Christmas movie. So if you're looking for a Christmas movie to watch, you have Netflix, definitely check out Klaus, because Klaus is one of those. There's also another Netflix movie that just came out that's about Christmas, The Night Before Christmas.
Yes.
We should watch that.
This is the second year in a row that actress has done a Christmas movie.
What actress?
The main actress in that. She's from the one from
We'll talk about it afterward.
Musical. I don't remember her name right now.
Yeah. High School Musical girl. So again, this was Klaus. It's on Netflix. If you want to check it out, definitely go check it out, because it's still the Christmas season. No, it's not Thanksgiving season. It is Christmas season.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder how many listeners are really angry at us for doing Christmas stuff before Thanksgiving.
Comment down below. Are you one of those people that says, no, it's not Christmas until after Thanksgiving? Comment down below.
My tree's been up for 2 weeks.
Yes. Has it been 2 weeks?
Yes.
Cool. So again, that was Klaus. It's on Netflix. Definitely check it out. We recommend it.
Yes.
We do. So with that said, let's just move on to our second segment.
Top 3 Gaming News.
Top 3 gaming news is the game news that we saw in the past week, and we'd like to rank a 3, 2, 1 just to give you a condensed version of what's going on in the games industry. Pow-pow. Pow-pow.
I like that my chair moves with me now.
Yikes.
Oh, I'm going away.
Oh, yikes. Are you back?
I'm back.
You're back with us?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Anybody listening to us on audio version, she's actually floating off into space. She's an astronaut. But then anybody watching us on YouTube knows the truth. The moon landing was a lie. So, the Dualshock. So, this is number 3 gaming news. Number 3 gaming news. Dualshock 5 was actually leaked, not announced. It was leaked. And Lizzie is disappointed about it.
I am.
So let me go
Check out my tweet.
at Journey first. So it's looking to be kind of a bigger controller. I'm just going through my notes right here. We're going to talk about the design. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're actually going to throw on the design. And if you're listening to us on audio, article link down below. Definitely check it out. It's from The Verge. Pretty good article. So a patent filed in Japan actually revealed some detailed images of the DualShock 5. So it came out. There's a lot of stuff to it, including, thank God, USB-C charging. You are taking my monster, aren't you? How dare you? Also, the light bar is gone. So we have a better battery charge with it. Hey, hello. Excuse me. Drinking more than you should of my monster.
I took sips. Two sips.
Gets the getting. So USB-C, which is faster charging, as well as the light bar is gone. So it's not going to drain your battery from the light bar. And it looks significantly bigger. Now, I'm going to put the image up right now, or Liz is because she edits this
I do
episode.
the editing.
But it looks significantly bigger. It looks kind of like an Xbox One controller, but with the PlayStation 4 look. Liz, you're not happy. Why are you not happy?
Because, and I think I've said this before. I don't remember, but I think I've said it before. Part of the reason why I liked the PlayStation controller better was because it was smaller.
Yeah.
And I have smaller hands. Now, I don't have the smallest hands.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do know people who are around my age who have smaller hands than me, but I have relatively small hands compared to you.
Yes, I have. Let's take a look. If you're on YouTube.
I used the wrong hand.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Look at how small my hands are compared to Adam's.
Mm-hmm.
And
if you're watching us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that's part of the reason why I liked the PlayStation controller, because I felt like it fit in my hands. It was more comfortable to hold for me.
Mm-hmm.
And now it looks like the PlayStation controller. Because on the web page, I think they had this patent picture and a patent picture for the DualShock 4.
Yes.
And you can tell that it's not
Too
ginormously bigger, but it looks like someone kind of stuck a straw in it and went.
It looks like they went to freshman year of college.
Yes.
Freshman 15.
But that's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just I'm just worried that it's not going to feel as comfortable. It looks like they made an Xbox controller with longer handles.
Now, keep in mind, Liz, that this is just a patent design. This isn't the official look of it,
but it
does look chunky.
And it looks like their purpose, they're looking for something a bit meatier than what they have now.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I don't like.
But yeah.
And honestly, I don't think the light bar takes that much battery.
No, it does.
We rarely have to charge our DualShock as it is.
Well, that's because I replaced the battery.
Oh.
That's the thing. It's like the DualShock 4s were significantly less battery than the Xbox One controller. Because of that.
So we got a different battery.
Yeah, I replaced the battery on it. And that's the thing. If you're looking to get more battery life from your DualShock, it really doesn't take a lot to change the battery out. It takes a screwdriver. I think it's just a torque. I can't remember off the top of my head. But then you need a pair of tweezers. Take a bad boy out. It's kind of, well, this is YouTube, so you can find it. But it doesn't take that much. But this is all just a patent, but interesting nonetheless to discuss. So But moving forward to our number 2 gaming news, actually. Number 2 took a deuce.
What?
Half-Life Alyx has been revealed, and it is a new Half-Life game. New Half-Life game in VR. It is not Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
It's actually Half-Life 1.5. So let's talk about it real quick. So on Thursday, Valve actually finally revealed, after years of it being in the making, it became public for a full-length VR Half-Life game. I believe it was said to be between 13 and 16 hours. So it's a decent-sized game, full-length VR, and it is not Half-Life 3, but rather a prequel to Half-Life 2 that follows Alex Vance and her father Eli in the story, and it talks all about I'm sorry, I just got off of an 8-hour shift, so I'm exhausted, but it talks a lot more about what wasn't said in Half-Life 2. And okay, so the consensus, so before I say about the consensus, and I want to read you a quote, but there's actually, surprisingly, there's no plans for a non-VR Half-Life. It seems like they were spending all of their time on this VR game. And I had the question, it's just like, you heard your fans, you know that they want Half-Life 3, and you spent all of your time and resources on this VR game, which brings me to the consensus. The consensus is disappointed. It's disappointed. I've been reading some threads. There are some angry fans. There's always going to be angry fans. There are. But the consensus is just like, it looks phenomenal. I didn't show you the trailer.
Nope.
It looks great for a VR game. It looks fantastic. It's another Half-Life game. It uses Steam's own hardware. I forget what it was. I don't think it's the Oculus. It might be the Oculus. No, that's Facebook. Whatever. But it does use Oculus. Everybody's kind of like, it exists. I'm not mad at it. I'm just disappointed it's not Half-Life 3. So, and there's one quote I want to read to you before moving on to the number 1 gaming news. Liz, you don't really have a lot to say about this, do you?
I know nothing about Half-Life, sorry.
You know nothing about Half-Life. You're not pretty much VR anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely, neither of us are a VR person or VR.
No,
people.
I have a history of epilepsy, so I just don't like to risk it.
And I have motion sickness and migraine problems, and neither of those are suggested to use VR.
Yeah.
So.
But this is actually a quote from Gabe Newell about this new Half-Life game, and I just want to read it, and then I'm going to rant for a little bit about the number 1 gaming news.
And I'll be silent then, too.
Pretty much. I mean, you'll have a lot to say.
I'll have plenty to say in the topic, so.
Yeah.
I'll rest my voice.
This might be a longer episode, but actually some people have been asking for longer episodes.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. So let me just read through this.
I love the sound of our voices.
Let me just read through this quote, and then we'll get to number 1. Everyone at Valve is excited to be returning to the world of Half-Life. Valve's Gabe Newell said in a statement, VR has energized us. We've invested a lot of ourselves in the technology, but we're also game developers at heart, and to be devoting ourselves to a VR game this ambitious is just as exciting. For that to come in the form of Half-Life feels like the culmination of a lot of things that we care about a lot. Truly great games, cutting-edge technology, and open platforms. We can't wait for the people to experience this. If you're watching this on VR on YouTube, I accidentally cut off the quote, but
Herps.
But it seems like they're pretty passionate about this, and you can tell.
Yeah.
You watch the trailer, and it looks fantastic. Like, it looks really, really good for a VR game. And you can tell that they put a lot of time and effort into this. You can't really be mad at it. You really can't. But it's just disappointment that's not, concluding the cliffhanger from Half-Life 2. And that's what the disappointment comes to. But anything else to say, Liz?
They shouldn't put games exclusively on VR.
Moving on to our number 1 gaming news. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about Hideo Kojima and Geoff Keighley right here. So there's this conflict of interest going along about the Game Awards, which we're going to be talking about in the big topic. So I'm going to be pretty quick about this, hopefully. But Hideo Kojima and Geoff Keighley, well, actually, Geoff Keighley was actually accused of having a conflict of interest. Now, the Game Awards nominations have been released, and Death Stranding has 9 nominations. 8 or 9, I think 9, but it has 9 nominations, including Game of the Year and Best Game Direction. Now, a lot of people are saying it's like, oh, well, Geoff Keighley is just big old buddies with Hideo Kojima. They're just big old bros, and that's the conflict of interest right here. Because people don't agree that Death Stranding is Game of the Year worthy, or even for Game Direction, or even for 9 nominations. Okay. Real quick, going to rant for a little bit. This isn't going to be like articles. I'm just going to read one quote from the article that's linked down below. It's actually a pretty good article. But this quote right here says, if you're unaware of the voting process at the Game Awards, the nominations and eventual winners are selected by a panel comprised of 80 media outlets around the globe. 80. The general public can then also contribute and vote for each category as well, but their collective votes only make up 10% of the final count. No outside influences such as Keighley have any role in voting otherwise.
Kind of like any other award show.
Okay, going to rant. So let me just bring up the actual Game Awards, because we're actually going to be talking about it for a little bit. The Game Awards nominations. Now, here's the thing, is that nobody's really talking about how this really isn't a conflict of interest more than it is like you just don't like Death Stranding and you don't think it deserves all these nominations. And I'm going to rant a little bit about this. So I'm going to click About, and a lot of people are just saying like, oh, why isn't it a conflict of interest? Well, we see right here that Hideo Kojima is part of the advisory board, and everybody's like, oh, Hideo, he's on it. But everybody's also pointing out that Phil Spencer's on it. Cool. Also, Phil Harrison is on it, as well as Rockstar Games is on it, and Doug Bowser. Yves Guillemot is on the Valve is on this. Everybody's just pointing out at Hideo Kojima because they just want to point the finger and say that, oh, it's a conflict of interest because he's on the advisory board. So is everybody else. Get over yourself. But then you also have the voting board, and I'm trying to find it off the hand. And everybody's pointing out a certain Japanese publication that was also in Death Stranding. But I want to point out that's 1 out of 80. 1 out of 80 of these press releases that are in the voting and putting in, it is 1 out of 80. Okay? So I understand that Death Stranding is divisive. I haven't played Death Stranding because I looked at the trailers. I looked at some gameplay of it. It doesn't seem like it's for me. It doesn't. I will play it eventually. I'm excited about it.
But you're in no rush.
I'm in no rush. But that's the thing. You just don't like how it's in Game of the Year nomination because you don't like it. You know why it's in Game of the Year? Do you know why? It's actually because everybody's scared to say Hideo Kojima isn't a god.
Yeah.
In the same way as Breath of the Wild was nominated for Game of the Year because everybody then was too scared to say that Breath of the Wild was not their game. In fact, I still remember when Breath of the Wild came out. By the way, I'm playing Breath of the Wild. Absolutely love it.
Me too.
Please don't hurt me. But there was actually some reviewers that gave it an 80. An 80, Breath of the Wild. There's a lot of people that play Breath of the Wild that are like, it's not my game. And those people got doxxed for giving it an 80. And that's the thing. When it was on Game of the Year, it was nominated for Game of the Year. 1, because, okay, fine, it deserved it. But 2, because people were too terrified to say it wasn't that great of a game. Second thing, Red Dead Redemption 2, just last year.
Oh, jeez.
Do you remember how many nominations that game got? Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me look again. How many nominations did Red Dead Redemption half the show? Wait, who's on the advisory board? Oh, look at that. It's Rockstar Games. Nobody ever said that this was a conflict of interest. Maybe some people did, but Rockstar Games is on the advisory board, and yet everybody was just like, yeah, it deserves it. It totally deserves it. I was one that was very okay with God of War getting Game of the Year. Who else is on the advisory board? Oh my God, Sony Interactive Entertainment, the people who actually published God of War. Would you look at that? So, for anybody that says that there's a conflict of interest because a game gets nominated, much like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I thought that got snubbed. There's no conflict of, oh wait, Yves Guillemot, who is the CEO of Ubisoft, is on the advisory board. So, for you to say that there's a conflict of interest because Geoff Keighley and Hideo Kojima are best buddies, that's not just it. Death Stranding actually went out of its way to be a brand new creative game. It's not for you. If you don't like it, that's fine. Doesn't mean other people don't. And it was actually rated pretty well, Death Stranding. Maybe you don't like it. I didn't buy it. I promise you I'm almost done because I can tell Liz is tired of me talking. But
I think Liz is just tired in general.
Yeah. I also had a monster, which is also featured in Death Stranding. But here's the thing. Hideo Kojima went out of his way to make a very unique game. It is a walking simulator, but with a lot of action in it. It's got a story to it that's all about connection rather than killing people. It's got this bridge system that you can like other people's bridges. And there's actually gameplay mechanics in here that can actually be utilized in the future tellings of games. It's a good game. Not for me, but it's a good game. And for everybody to just like jump the boat and say, you know, oh, it's a conflict of interest, you have to mention every other conflict of interest.
I mean, everyone on that board is from a gaming company.
Yeah. Right.
Why would you have people who don't know games on an advisory board for game awards? Because
that's the thing. You know who else is on there? Stephen Ma, who was from Tencent. Yikes. Tencent, if you don't know, is a massive corporation that owns like half of gaming.
There you go.
Yeah.
He wins no matter what.
That's the thing. Because Death Stranding is so divisive that people are just saying that's conflict of interest. Here's something that nobody's really talking about is why does Control have 8? Control has 8 nominations, and we'll get to that. And I promise you we'll get to that. But its sales numbers in August, it actually didn't make the charts in August, which was its release month. It wasn't really presented that well. It didn't sell that well, and yet it's nominated for Game of the Year and 7 other nominations. So everyone's all in all about Hideo Kojima, but they're not looking at the other game awards that were passed and didn't look at the advisory board right here. They didn't look at Rockstar Games. They didn't look at Yves Guillemot. They didn't look at Sony Interactive Entertainment or WB Games. But that's the thing, is that people just want to point the finger because they think that they got snubbed and they think that Death Stranding didn't make the mark for them. But guess what? It reviewed well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it reviewed well because they were too afraid to say that Hideo Kojima isn't a god. That point you can make. That the voters of this just did not want to say he was a fraud, but that's all I should say because I'm running really, really long. So,
yep.
If you disagree with me, I'm at Ace the Grocer. Let's start some Twitter beef. I don't really care. At least you'll interact with me on Twitter. I need to be loved. But with that said and done, I'm just going to end myself there. And let's just go into the final, where we're actually going to be talking about the Game Award nominees, but we're only going to be talking about 7 topics. 7 categories, not 29 categories. So let's just jump into it with our final segment.
Coffee time.
Every single week here on the Games and Groceries podcast, we like to do a talkie time, whether it be about female gamers or even game preservation. We like to talk about a gaming topic within the gaming industry. And since the Game Awards came out, we're going to be talking about 7 categories, just to keep it within a half an hour, instead of the 29. Spoiler alert, we're not talking about esports because we're not really esports people.
Nope,
so
can't really commentate on that one.
Sorry about that. It's not that they don't matter. It's just that we're not.
That's not our thing.
I remember Boogie. Boogie did a whole thing, categories, and then he looked through audio design. He's like, nobody cares about that. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah,
people
see?
care about that.
He doesn't care about that.
He doesn't care, but people do. But we're going to be talking about 7 categories. We're going to be talking about best performance, best narrative, games for impact, best game direction, fresh indie game, best art direction, and game of the year. So let's get started with best performance. So we have our nominees of Ashley Birch as Parvati in Outer Worlds. Then we have Courtney Hope as Jessie Fadden in, oh, look at that, Control. We were just talking about that. I think she deserves that. But then we have Laura Bailey as Kate Diaz in Gears 5, Mads Mikkelsen in Death Stranding, and then we have Matthew Porretta in Control, and then finally Norman Reedus in Death Stranding. Okay, so in this talkie time, we're going to say who we want, and then who do we think will win. So, surprise, surprise, who do we want to win?
Let's say on the same time.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Ashley Birch. Yep. We love Ashley Birch. I love Outer Worlds. I think Ashley Birch deserved it because playing through Outer Worlds and playing Parvati, I think she did phenomenal. I think Ashley Birch...
Other than the fact that all we hear is Chloe.
Yeah. I think Ashley Birch is just a very talented voice actress. Now, with that being said, who do we think is going to win?
Should we do it at the same time again?
I think we should because I guarantee we have different. Okay, let's just do it.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen.
No, I think it'll be Norman Reedus.
I know it will be Norman Reedus.
So why do you choose to say Mads Mikkelsen?
Well, because Mads Mikkelsen, everybody complains that Norman Reedus actually wasn't that great in Death Stranding, but everybody's on fire. Pun intended. Mads Mikkelsen, because he gets on fire in the game.
Spoiler alert.
No, it's in the trailers.
Oh, I didn't even know.
I didn't play it. How is it a spoiler?
I don't know, because you get spoiled by stuff all the time.
But I'm just reading about the performance from Mads Mikkelsen, and it seems like a lot of people really connect with him. Norman Reedus, I think, could win it because it's Norman Reedus. Just like how with Arthur Morgan's voice actor, I can't remember.
Beats me.
Yeah, but he won over Christopher Judge, which blew my mind. Like, how did Christopher Judge not win that category for performance?
Because that game just dominated the entire awards.
You're right, girl.
No.
Oh, Bessie. Oh, no. But yeah, I think Norman Reedus will, or Mads Mikkelsen. It's between those two.
It'll definitely be Death Stranding.
It would definitely be for Death Stranding. I hope Laura Bailey... I played Gears 5. Kate Diaz, I think, was a great character. We hope Ashley Birch gets it. I voted for Ashley Birch. But I definitely think that either Mads Mikkelsen or Norman Reedus... I personally hope out of those two, I think it's Mads Mikkelsen deserves it way more than Norman Reedus does. But because it's Norman Reedus and he's from Walking Dead, like
yeah, exactly. Like he's not a traditional video game actor. So like since he's not a video game
but he's
actor,
definitely nerd culture.
Exactly. So they'll be like, oh my gosh, Norman Reedus in a video game. Oh my gosh, he must win.
But if you haven't already, definitely vote for Ashley Birch as for best performance. So the next category I think we're going to talk about, I think I already wrote it down, is narrative. So best narrative. There's a few games on here I did not play. Actually, all but one I didn't play. I was interested in this, but let's talk about this. The category goes to, the category says for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. And we have Plague Tale Innocence, which I heard was very good. I just didn't get a chance to. Control. Again, Control. I really wanted to play Control. I don't care what other people say. I think Control looked really interesting. I love Remedy, and I just didn't get a chance to play it. Then we have Death Stranding, Disco Elysium, which HCG absolutely loves, and then my vote, Outer Worlds. So, Liz, you didn't play any of these.
No, and I literally cannot remember a single thing about Control. Like, it's in everything, so that means I must have heard about it and known about it.
I talked about it a lot.
I don't remember a single thing.
Yeah.
About Control. So yeah, I don't have one that I want to win. I want Outer Worlds to win for you.
Thank you.
But that's about it.
The reason why I think Outer Worlds narrative is just so excellent, I don't think it's going to win. And I'll talk about what I think is going to win. And I don't think it's Death Stranding, mind you.
Oh, I do.
It could win.
I think it's going to be just like last year. Death Stranding's going to dominate everything, and then hopefully it won't win Game of the Year.
It might be just like last year with Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, Death Stranding could be the Red Dead Redemption 2, where it's a long game that nobody actually finished, and people are just raving about, and it's going to dominate the show. Mm-hmm. It's going to be just like last year. It is.
Yep.
And then Control is going to be like God of War, apparently. That's going to be like the second in command, which is really weird. Before I go forward, now I'll talk about this in Game of the Year especially, but before these nominations came out, I'm like, not a lot of heavy hitters came out like last year did. Last year was some heavy hitters. Because Game of the Year was God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man 2018. In fact, let me look it up. 2018 Game of the Year nominations. Okay. Goaty. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Look at this. So last year was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Marvel's Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, God of War, and Celeste.
Yeah.
Last year was nuts.
Yeah, that was a lot.
But this one was kind of like trickly. But we'll get to that when we get to the Game of the Year.
Don't jump ahead, Adam.
So we think Death Stranding is going to win Best Narrative, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about why Outer Worlds should win Best Narrative. It's because it's so many branching different dialogues, branching storylines, and it all collects and ties itself together so well. But each mission, it's written so well that when Liz watched me play Outer Worlds, like I had to tell her, like, Liz, this is not a main mission. This is a side mission. And it's just written so well and so deep and so invested that I think the narrative really pans out, that you want to play it again and again and again and get a different narrative. And I think the narrative of Outer Worlds is very lore heavy. I think it should win. But Death Stranding's going to take this one. Or Control. Nah, Death Stranding.
Outer Worlds has too much talking. Every time I look up, you're talking to someone.
Just like real life.
Yeah.
That's why I like it so much. So,
yeah, that's true.
Let's talk about games for impact. So,
yes.
I played 3 of these games.
Yeah.
So, we have Concrete Genie.
Which I think I wanted to play.
I think that's a VR game.
Yeah, and then I was sad that it was VR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think I wanted to play that.
I don't think it's only VR, though. I might be wrong about that, but I think it's also something else. But we have Concrete Genie. We have Grease. Not Gris. Grease.
Should be Gris.
Kind Words, which I actually never heard about.
Nope.
I totally missed the mark on that one. Life is Strange 2, which we talk about all the time on this show. And my vote.
And my vote.
Because we talked about this on the podcast. We actually have a whole episode about this game. Sea of Solitude, which I hopefully will remember to link up here. But we actually talked about this for an episode. We talked about the lines of Sea of Solitude and what kind of impact is it making. Now, I played Grease, I played Life is Strange 2, and I played Sea of Solitude. I didn't play Concrete Genie. I've never even heard of Kind Words. Not to say that it's not good enough, but...
Yeah, we can't say anything on it because we don't know what it is.
So let's talk about what we want to win. Sea of Solitude. And I think out of all these games, I think Sea of Solitude was the most honest, the most visceral, the most real kind of story setting. If we're talking about games for impact, I think this game really hit the mark of what it means to be depressed, to be bullied, to let others down. And I think Sea of Solitude hit the mark on all of them. And Grease was also a good game, as well as Life is Strange 2 and the whole 2016 stance on life. But I think Sea of Solitude really hit that mark.
Because it also, not even the ones that you hit, it hits so many different topics when it involves like anxiety and depression, like the inner conflict.
Yeah.
Like with yourself. And it's just such a good game.
Now, what do we think's going to win? Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Life
Sea
is
of
Strange
Solitude.
2.
I actually think Sea of Solitude is going to take this.
I hope so.
I know what you mean about Life is Strange 2.
It's just the most popular out of all of them.
But I think we're forgetting that a lot of games journalism is actually talking about Sea of Solitude. They're getting on.
That's true.
They're getting on Connie Gephardt.
I was torn between the two.
It's going to be one of the two.
Yeah. Hopefully it's the one we voted for. That'd be great.
All of these games.
Since I'm one of the voters for it, it's probably not going to win because everything I liked doesn't happen.
But I think all of these games have a fair chance, honestly, for this category. There's really no outright winner.
And I think that's because it is so popular. I don't want to say, it doesn't sound like the right word, but it is so popular today to be outright with your anxiety and emotional trauma.
Yeah.
That this is an important topic, so they all have a very good chance of winning because they all hit home for someone, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, so.
By the way, if anybody is in connection with Connie Gephardt and can get her on the show for us, because I tried to contact her, and I definitely want to talk to her more about this game, but I think she's too busy for me. But
we're too little.
We're too tiny. But I think Sea of Solitude was actually, talked a lot about games journalist sites, and it's still being talked about to this day. It's being nominated for a Game Awards, so I think Sea of Solitude actually has a pretty good stance on winning games for impact. I'm in between Sea of Solitude and Grease is going to be one of the winners. Or Concrete Genie. Actually, like I said, all of these.
All of them. And I don't think we'll be upset with any of them winning.
I don't think so. All right, let's go into game direction.
Okay. Okay. I thought you skipped one.
Nope. You see what I voted for there? Sorry, babe.
Betrayal. It's okay, I didn't play any of these games.
So game direction. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Now you know why I voted for that.
Yeah.
So we got Control, we've got Death Stranding, we've got Resident Evil 2, we've got Sekiro, Shadow Dies Twice, and we have Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds. So, talking about what's described again. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Game direction and design. Vision and innovation. What I want is 2. Or all of them. Actually, no, just 3. Just 3. The 3 I want to win are either Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, and Outer Wilds. Now, the reason why I say Resident Evil 2 is because I'm going to talk about this in Game of the Year category, but I think it really defined what a game remake should really look like. Like, this was a game remake from the ground up. Like, this is a completely different game. And I think it definitely deserves to be for creative vision and innovation. And I think Outer Wilds, too, because it really gets the kind of Groundhog Day kind of gameplay and really puts into play where it becomes a fun game that you want to play over and over again until you get it right. Now, Death Stranding. I voted for Death Stranding.
I understand why you voted for Death Stranding, and I would probably vote for it too.
Because it's a creative vision, it's innovation, it's a game direction, it's design. He's trying to design to connect everybody, and in game you are connecting with real people. You are liking the bridges they're making. You are putting in each other's songs. Like, you're actually connecting with other people. It is a Strand game, and he's trying to innovate another genre of a game. So I think what I want, out of all these games, what do you think? Who do you want to win? Do you have a
preference? I don't think I have a preference. Like I said, I would probably vote for Death Stranding because it is the like definition of innovative.
Mm-hmm.
It's new, it's different. So I'd probably go for that. But as far as like, will I be disappointed either way? I don't really care.
Yeah. I think what we want to win and what we think's going to win is pretty much in the same place. I think Death Stranding is going to win this. I hope Resident Evil 2 also gets this. But yeah, I would like either Death Stranding or Resident Evil 2 to take this. But I think Death Stranding is definitely going to take this.
Yeah.
Like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So now we're moving on to my favorite category. Fresh indie game. Let's go. Okay. Let's talk about this. So we have Fresh Indie Game, recognizing a new independent studio that released its first game in 2019.
Woohoo.
So we have ZA/UM, which is for Disco Elysium. Then we have Nomada Studio for Greece, which was fantastic, by the way. Dead Toast Entertainment for My Friend Pedro. I didn't play that yet. I can't wait to play it because it's going to come on Game Pass for PC. Then we have Mobius Digital for Outer Wilds. Mega Crit for Slay the Spire, also well deserving. And my vote. House for Untitled Goose Game. House, let's go! I voted for House for Untitled Goose Game. Who do you want to win?
I want House to win for you.
Yeah.
I think it's between House and Dead Toast Entertainment.
For My Friend Pedro?
Yeah. Because I've heard a lot about My Friend Pedro over the past year.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's My Friend Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, that there's been a lot of talk about Goose Game too.
Yeah.
So it could go either way.
Like Blink-182 talked about it on stage, Goose Game. And I like how it's a fresh, new kind of game where you're just I love how people describe it. It's Goose Grand Theft Auto. And I love it because it's so innocent, it's so childish, and it's just it's so refreshing to play a game like this that doesn't take itself too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a long game. You can make it
a fun little game.
Yeah, you can make it as long as you want with the other categories in the game, but I really hope that House wins for Untitled Goose Game because it was such a cultural phenomenon. Now, who do I think's going to win? I actually think Nomada Studio for Greece.
Yeah, that was another one I thought was going to win.
Greece,
too.
I mean.
Whatever.
I think Nomada Studio is going to take this for Greece because while it wasn't in the news all that much, I think Greece is just so artistic and just so beautiful in the soundtrack.
For first time that this studio has put anything out,
mm-hmm.
it has 2 nominations.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like no, we're coming up on 3 pretty soon.
There you go. It has more than 1 nomination.
Yeah.
For a first
mm-hmm.
game to come out of the studio and an indie studio.
So I think Greece might have a solid chance. Outer Wilds also has a solid chance. Actually, all of these, much like Games for Impact,
mm-hmm.
all of these have a fair shot of winning. I don't know who's going to take this more, but I think Greece is actually in the front runner, in my opinion, because it's just so balanced in both the music, the gameplay, the art. Like everything about this game is just very well balanced out that everything could be your favorite in this game.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But House for Untitled Goose Game was just such a cultural phenomenon. Slay the Spire is also like this really unique kind of roguelike kind of game, card based. It's very well done. I played a little bit of it. Outer Wilds, of course, My Friend Pedro, Disco Elysium. All these studios have a fair shot of winning. I think Greece is going to take it, Nomada Studio. But I really hope House takes this for Untitled Goose Game. All right, so we're moving on to our last 2 categories. Last 2. First, let's go with art direction. Presented by Samsung QLED.
Woohoo.
All right, so the category says for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. So first we have Control, Death Stranding, Grease, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, listeners. Sayonara Wildlands, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Who do I want to win? I really want Grease to win. Because it's so beautiful. Like, this game is so unique and just so gorgeous, and everything about it is so good.
But you know which one is gonna win.
I know what's gonna win. Wait, ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Death Stranding. Yep, Death Stranding is gonna take the cake. Death Stranding or Control is gonna take this. Or you never know. Link's Awakening could take this.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening could probably take this because people love Legend of Zelda. But I think Control is going to take this one, actually. Because it is kind of unique in its design. It is very artistic. And the way the set is all played out, it may look blank, but it's like a minimalistic design. I think. But if you haven't yet played Grease, it's probably on sale right now because it's nominated for a game award, for 3 game awards, as far as I know. Maybe more. But Grease is just so... I just want to cry like thinking about it because it's so good. Like, the art style is just so fantastic. The music is fantastic. Like, the design of the characters is so gorgeous. The design of the goddess that holds you, it's just so gorgeous. It's so good. Play Grease.
Okay.
Do it.
Moving on to Game of the Year.
But that's the thing. Play Grease. Play Grease. So we're going to spend our last bit of time. Game of the Year. So I want to remind everybody, 2018 Game of the Year. So last year's nominations, heavy hitters. Marvel's Spider-Man, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, and Celeste. That was Game of the Year. Game of the Year this year, Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro. Last year's titles, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and The Outer Worlds. It's kind of a trickle kind of year.
Yeah.
Like, last year, there was some heavy hitters. Like, last year was a lot of really good games.
It was hard to choose between a few.
But this one, it's not that impressive.
No.
Now, here's the thing. Talking about Game of the Year, let's see this. Game of the Year described as recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. We have Control, which fine, sure, okay. We have Death Stranding, okay. Resident Evil 2. Let me talk about this for real quick. I think that's a high contender for that category, the way it's described. Because Resident Evil 2, while it may be a remake, and you even said this.
Yeah.
Now, if it was a remaster...
shouldn't be in there. But it's a remake, so it's different.
Yeah. And the way this does remakes, I think, really needs to be implemented into all kinds of fields of study in what a remake should be. Mm-hmm. Because this is an all-around from the ground up, total remake where it's just a completely separate game. It may be based off of Resident Evil 2, but is a completely new game.
Yeah.
And I know you didn't play the original Resident Evil 2. And we're back. We actually cut out there for a little bit because of a technical issue. Not so much technical or like biological, but... But talking about Resident Evil 2, I think this game redoes what a remake of a game should be. Mm-hmm. Now, Link's Awakening is also a really good remake, but it's not a completely new game.
Yeah.
But Resident Evil 2, as compared to the original Resident Evil 2, which you didn't play, this game does what it should in terms of what a game remake needs to be.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that when we're talking about Game of the Year, recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields, I think Resident Evil 2's remake really should be considered.
Yeah, and I think another one that we both agreed on was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yes.
Because everyone talked about that. Every age, every playing style.
Talk about a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, everyone was excited for Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
So I think that's a high contender.
If Smash Brothers Ultimate wins Game of the Year, I would be totally okay with that.
Yeah.
I would be totally fine with that. And that's the thing, is because it was a game for everybody. It had all these sorts of Nintendo characters plus some. It had Banjo in it. It's even getting some more characters into it. Not Waluigi, apparently. He's just, kind of like a trophy. But I think Smash Ultimate can also be considered as well. Sekiro, I didn't play it. It's another From Software game, and it kind of redoes what a From Software game can look like and play like. I agree with that, but it redoes its developers sort of thing. It doesn't redevelop any kind of game, like game all around video games, but I think it redoes what a From Software game can look like. And then finally, here's my vote. Oh, surprise! It's Outer Wilds. Oh no, it's Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds. The reason why I think it deserves to be considered for Game of the Year is because I think it's a game for absolutely everybody. And I don't think enough people gave it a chance because they thought it was just a sci-fi RPG game. But here's the thing. You play Outer Worlds the way you want to play Outer Worlds. Liz said that she didn't really like it because I'm always talking. It's because I'm always talking in real life. Like, that's all I do.
But in my, the way I see it, because I don't know anything about it, every time I look up, you're talking to someone, it's like, oh, okay, so this is like a talking game.
No, yeah. You can do whatever you want. You can be rude to people. You can be polite to people.
Ooh.
You can kill every single person in this game.
Ooh.
You can also go through the entire game without killing anybody. You can
That's not as fun.
Well, that's the thing, is that you don't want to kill people. That's fine. You don't have to. You can use all sorts of different weapons. You can use all different kinds of armor, everything.
Maybe I'll play now.
But that's the thing. And here's the other thing. It's as long as you want it to be. It's a 14.
You see how you got pumped up there? If you're watching on YouTube, he's like, it's like, but wait, there's more.
Oh no, because my butt hurts. But because I just got off an 8-hour shift at a time. But that's the thing, is that it's a 14 to 40 hour game. It's a game for absolutely everybody. It's as long as you want it to be. It's any play style you want it to be. It's a dialogue choice to anybody who wants to be. It is a game for absolutely everybody.
Well, then it should win.
It should.
But
I think it should. I honestly think, okay, maybe I'm a little biased here. Maybe there's a conflict of interest going on here.
Wow.
But I think it should win. I think Outer Worlds should at least be considered for Game of the Year.
Well, that's why you voted for it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You vote for who you think should win.
But because, there is a conflict of interest, I don't really care. I think Outer Worlds is a game for absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
Now, what do we think's going to win? Ready? 3, 2, 1, Control.
I have no idea.
Control's going to win because it's going to take us all by a storm. Actually, no. If it's going to take us all by a storm, I think Resident Evil 2.
I think it's between Resident Evil 2 and Super Smash.
I really think so.
I literally think it's going to be like last year. Death Stranding's going to take over the whole thing, and then someone else is going to win Game of the Year. Because just when you think they're going to win another one, they're like, but wait, someone else wins. Not there's more. If there's more, that would mean they'd win.
There's more.
Wrong.
Ouch. But yeah, I think Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has a high chance of winning. Okay, so ranking. Okay, here's my ranking of chances of what's going to win. Starting with number 1, Smash Bros. Ultimate has the highest chance out of all of these games to win Game of the Year. Chance number 2, I'm going to say... Okay, it's a tie between Death Stranding and Resident Evil 2, in my mind. Okay, so my ranking of this. So Smash Bros. Ultimate has the highest chance of winning because of what it is and how it affected people culturally and how highly reviewed it was. So Smash Bros. Ultimate, I'm going to say Death Stranding's number 2. Then it's Resident Evil 2, number 3. Number 4, I'm going to give it to Sekiro. I'm going to give it to that one. And then you have Outer Wilds, and then you have Control. Because I don't think...
You said Outer Wilds again.
No, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. But yeah, that's my current ranking.
You want my ranking?
Sure.
So, again, this is what I think it is, not what I want.
So just to remind everybody, mine is Smash Bros. Ultimate, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, The Outer Worlds, and Control.
So I think I have Super Smash Ultimate.
Mm-hmm. We both agree.
Top.
Yeah.
Then I was torn between Resident Evil 2 and Death Stranding.
As was I.
I think Death Stranding has a better chance just because I think a lot of people will think of Resident Evil the same way I do.
Yeah.
And like the same way I did, not do, but the same way I did when you first told me.
Okay. Sure.
So Death Stranding, then Resident Evil. And then I'm putting Outer Worlds
above Sekiro?
Yes, because the Sekiro, it was very popular when it came out.
Yeah.
But you haven't heard anything since.
I think it was talked about because it was the controversy of difficulty in games.
Exactly. So really, it hasn't been talked about. Like it doesn't. It didn't seem like it was a defining game.
Yeah.
So, you messed me up. So all right. So, Smash Ultimate, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Outer Worlds, Control, and then Sekiro.
Oh, Sekiro, you think has the lowest chance?
Yes, because like I said, I mean, I don't remember anything about Control, but I think it was pretty big because it's in every. It's in like every topic.
Well, that's why it's a controversy. I think that's more of a controversy than Death Stranding because Control was actually not that great reviewed. It didn't make sales numbers in August. Like it didn't even make the charts in August.
Okay. Well, then maybe Sekiro above Control. They're pretty like they were like interchangeable for me.
Yeah, but
I was surprised you put Sekiro so high.
Well, it's because I think it does have technical fields and it has a creative experience to it. But we both agree that Smash Ultimate has the highest chance.
Yeah.
I think, I really think that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to walk away with Game of the Year.
That would be insane. Just because, like, it's, in my opinion, that's such an untypical game to win Game of the Year.
Well, Overwatch won in 2016. Overwatch? You remember that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh. Well, I don't really talk about it that much.
Yeah.
Overwatch is kind of like Rainbow Six Siege, but more... I'm going to get so many hate comments from this. It's not like Siege, but it kind of is. Stop it.
So, to me, those are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I think of Super Smash, I think of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I think of our youth students.
Yeah.
I don't think of, like, Game of the Year type of game. But it kind of was.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's just like, that's crazy. That's just me, though. Please don't hate me.
But I agree. I think we both agree that Smash Brothers Ultimate, we want Outer Worlds to win.
Yeah.
Because I think it does. I don't think, like I said, if you're watching this, you didn't give Outer Worlds a chance.
Do it.
You should, because it is a game for everybody.
Do it.
Really, yeah. You play it.
I know. I said, all right, maybe now I'll play it.
Yes.
But it's on your big old Xbox controller that I hate playing on.
It's on your big old thing. You talk about my Duke? No, not about my Duke. It's about the original Xbox One controller.
I know, and it's too big.
Anyways. But I think Resident Evil 2 should also be highly considered. Not to be a controversy as it's a remake, but it does reach creative and technical fields. I think it should be highly considered for Game of the Year. You know what? I'm going to move Death Stranding down and put Resident Evil 2 up to number 2 spot.
Okay.
But I think Smash Ultimate has a pretty high chance, and Outer Worlds is a pretty okay chance. But Control, if that walks away with Game of the Year,
you'll be disappointed.
I want to make a bet. Like, I want to say, like, I'll dye my beard pink.
Not. You work in a restaurant.
I know.
That's highly ranked. You do not dye your beard pink.
But that's the thing. It's like, I don't think Control's going to go away with it. I think that's a low chance, and I think Smash Brothers will take it. But that's just our opinion. But if you have an opinion of your own, write it in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to take, like, not who do you want? Who do you, like, what game is going to win Game of the Year this year?
I know a bet you can make.
What's that?
If Control wins, you'll get a manicure.
Okay. I'll do that.
Because we can take that off for work.
Yeah. I'll get a manicure. So I will get.
No, I hope it wins.
If Control wins.
Everyone go vote for Control.
If Control wins Game of the Year, I will go get a manicure. Like straight up manicure. Not paint my nails. I will go get a manicure.
And paint your nails.
What? And paint my nails?
Getting your nails painted is part of a manicure.
All right. We'll do that. I will get my nails painted if Control wins Game of the Year. That's how low of a chance I think it has of winning. But again, what do you think? Write your comments down below if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can, tweet at us. I'm at Ace the Grocer. She's at Journey First, but our Games and Groceries Twitter is at Gaming Groceries. So definitely tweet at us. But let me know your thoughts. But I think Smash is going to win.
Yeah, probably.
I said that 5 times, but I keep questioning myself.
Because it is so weird.
It is, especially since it came out last year.
That too. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Later.
But when the Game Awards do happen on December 12th, you can count on that we're going to react to it on the next podcast. So the Monday after the Game Awards, we're definitely going to be talking about it and, how we kind of favored out. But with all that said and done, do you have anything else to say?
Nope.
Cool. This episode went on for way too long. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. So with all that said and done, be sure to follow us on Twitter. I already said the Twitter handles, but at Gaming Groceries. Follow us on Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word. And follow us on Facebook. You can search for Games and Groceries Podcast or just Games and Groceries on Facebook. Be sure to check out our website, gamesandgroceries.com, where you can listen to all of the episodes from the website, as well as find out where you can listen to the audio version of the website. And also, if you enjoyed this episode, if you made it this far, definitely consider liking the episode or sharing with a friend. And more importantly, subscribe, please, so that you know when all of these episodes come out, and hitting the notification bell also lets you know when all of these episodes come out, as well as our other content. But with that said and done,
I think you got everything.
Outer Worlds, Game of the Year. All right. See you next week. Later.
Bye.